Another life saved! Another victory!
The screaming stopped when Noah Bennett dragged Marcus Williams from the blazing apartment building. Smoke poured from Noah's jacket as news cameras captured him, carrying the unconscious man to safety. Channel 7's reporter thrust a microphone toward his soot-covered face. "Captain Bennett, another heroic rescue. How does it feel to save lives?" Noah wiped ash from his eyes. "Just doing my job." The crowd cheered. Elena Bennett watched from behind police tape, her phone buzzing incessantly. She smiled and waved at her husband, the local hero. That night, Noah showered off the smoke smell while Elena worked on her laptop downstairs. Steam fogged the bathroom mirror as his phone vibrated with congratulations texts. Through the thin walls, he heard Elena's laptop chime with a message notification. He wrapped a towel around his waist and padded barefoot to the kitchen. Elena was in the bathroom now, water running. Her laptop sat open on the counter, screen still glowing. The message preview made Noah's blood freeze. "I can still feel you from last night. When can Mrs. Pyro and I play with fire again? Maybe your husband will burn in his next rescue. Chase." Noah's hands trembled as he clicked the message thread. Months of explicit texts filled the screen. His wife called Chase Daddy. Chase called her Mrs. Pyro and joked about Noah dying in fires. The timestamp showed they'd been texting during Noah's rescue today. Footsteps approached. Noah closed the laptop and grabbed a beer from the fridge. Elena appeared in silk pajamas, hair damp. "You're a hero, baby. I'm so proud." She kissed his cheek, the same lips that had whispered obscenities to another man. "Thanks," Noah managed. "Who's Chase?" Elena's face didn't change. "Chase Reynolds. He owns that new gym downtown. Why?" "Megan mentioned him. Said he's looking for a house." "Oh, right. I might show him some properties." Elena's voice stayed steady, but her fingers fidgeted with her wedding ring. Noah nodded and headed upstairs. Behind the bedroom door, he Googled Chase Reynolds. Attractive guy, mid-30s, owned Fitcore Gym. His Instagram showed shirtless photos and motivational quotes. Recent posts included pictures from expensive restaurants Noah had never been to. Sleep didn't come. Every time Noah closed his eyes, he saw Elena's texts. "I love when you bend me over your desk while clients wait outside. My husband's working late again. Come over." At 3 a.m., Noah crept downstairs and retrieved Elena's laptop. Her email was logged in. He copied the backup files to a USB drive, his firefighter training keeping his hands steady despite his racing heart. Bank statements revealed cash withdrawals he'd never seen, hotel receipts, lingerie purchases. Elena had been living a double life for over a year. The next morning, Elena announced she had 3 open houses scheduled. "On a Tuesday?" Noah asked. "Pre-qualified buyers. They work weekends." She kissed his forehead. "I'll take Lila." She liked seeing the fancy houses. Their 13-year-old daughter Lila bounced into the kitchen with her backpack. "Where are we going, Mom?" "House hunting," Elena said brightly. After they left, Noah called his sister Megan. "I need your help," he said when she answered. 20 minutes later, Megan sat at Noah's kitchen table scrolling through Elena's messages. "Jesus Christ, Noah. How long has this been going on?" "At least a year, maybe longer." Noah paced behind her chair. "Look at this one from 3 months ago." Megan read aloud. "Told him I was showing houses in Denver. He bought it completely. We have the whole weekend. This is sick, Noah." "What do I do?" "Document everything, get a lawyer, and for God's sake don't let on that you know." That afternoon, Noah installed a GPS tracker under Elena's car bumper and ordered hidden cameras for their house. His fire department technical training made the setup simple. Elena returned home at 6 p.m. looking flushed and happy. "How were the houses?" Noah asked. "Great. One family is very interested." She hugged Lila. "Tell Daddy about the mansion we saw." Lila's face scrunched in confusion. "We only saw 2 houses, Mom. and they were empty. Elena's smile flickered. That's right, baby. 2 houses. But the GPS showed Elena had spent 4 hours at Fitcore Gym. Over the following weeks, Noah's evidence collection became an obsession. He installed a keylogger on Elena's laptop and recovered deleted photos from her phone's cloud backup. Pictures of her and Chase in hotel rooms, in his office, in houses she was supposed to be selling. The worst discovery came on a Thursday night. Elena was showering after another client meeting when her phone buzzed with a video message from Chase. Noah opened it. Chase was recording himself at his gym, camera pointed at his office door. "Check out what Mrs. Pyro left behind," he whispered. The camera panned to show Elena's red underwear draped over his desk chair. "She's getting sloppy," Chase chuckled. Good thing her husband's too stupid to notice. Noah screenshot everything before Elena returned. "Who was texting?" she asked, toweling her hair. "Work stuff." Noah's voice stayed level. "Frank needs me to cover his Saturday shift." "Again? You're working too much. Someone has to pay for those shopping trips." Elena kissed his neck. "I love you, Noah Bennett." The lies rolled off her tongue like honey. Saturday morning, Noah followed Elena's GPS signal to the Riverside Motel. Through binoculars, he watched her enter room 247. Chase's truck was already there. Noah called Megan. "I need that lawyer's number." Marlene Yates was a sharp-eyed divorce attorney who specialized in infidelity cases. Her office walls displayed certificates and photos with local judges. "Colorado is a no-fault divorce state," she explained, "but your prenup changes things. If you can prove infidelity, Elena forfeits her claim to joint assets." Noah produced his USB drive. "Will this work?" Marlene reviewed the evidence for 20 minutes. "This is extensive. Video, photos, GPS data, financial records. You have a slam-dunk case." "What about custody?" "Full custody is possible. Elena's been exposing your daughter to her affair partner and lying about her whereabouts. Any judge will see that." "How long will this take?" "With evidence this solid?" 6 months, maybe less. Marlene leaned forward. "But Noah, you need to understand something. Once you file, there's no going back. Elena will fight dirty. She already has." That week, Noah quietly moved assets to Megan's name and opened a separate bank account. He documented every lie Elena told, every fake client meeting, every unexplained expense. Elena's behavior grew more erratic. She started arguments over trivial things and suggested a trial separation. "We're growing apart," she said one evening. "Maybe some space would help." "I don't want space. I want my wife back." Elena's eyes flashed with something that looked like guilt. "Sometimes people change, Noah." "Yeah, sometimes they do." The breaking point came on a Friday night. Elena claimed she was showing a house to out-of-town buyers. The GPS led Noah to Fitcore Gym's parking lot at 11 p.m. Through the gym's front windows, Noah saw Elena and Chase on a yoga mat, completely without clothes. Elena was on top, her head thrown back in ecstasy. They were directly under the gym's motivational banner, "Push Your Limits." Noah recorded everything through his phone camera. When Elena climaxed, she screamed loud enough to echo through the empty strip mall. Afterward, they lay intertwined under gym towels. Chase lit a cigarette. "Your husband suspect anything?" Chase asked. "Noah? He's clueless, too busy playing hero." Elena stretched like a satisfied cat. "I told him I'd be home by midnight. He'll be asleep." "What if he finds out?" Elena laughed coldly. "Then I'll take him for everything. His pension, the house, custody. Men are so predictable. Even Captain Hero, especially him. Noah thinks he saves people, but he can't even save his own marriage." They both laughed. The sound made Noah's stomach turn. At home, Lila was waiting in the kitchen with a glass of milk. "Where's Mom?" she asked. "Working late." Noah hugged his daughter, fighting back tears. Dad, are you and Mom getting divorced? The question hit like a physical blow. Why would you ask that? She's different. She lies about where she goes, and yesterday I heard her on the phone saying she wished she never married you. Noah held Lila tighter. Whatever happens, kiddo, I'll always be here for you. The next morning, Elena returned home at 7 a.m., claiming her clients had kept her out late. They wanted to see 5 more properties, she explained, not meeting Noah's eyes. Must have been thorough buyers. Very thorough. Elena headed for the shower. I need to clean up. While water ran upstairs, Noah uploaded the gym footage to a secure cloud server. His hands were steady now. The hurt had crystallized into something harder. That afternoon, Elena announced she was attending Chase's birthday party at the gym. Business networking, she said. All the real estate agents will be there. Take pictures, Noah said. I'd love to see your colleagues. At 8 p.m., Noah drove to Fitcore Gym. Cars packed the parking lot, and music thumped from inside. Through the windows, he saw 30 people dancing and drinking. Elena wore a tight red dress Noah had never seen before. She and Chase were grinding against each other on the makeshift dance floor, her hands roaming his chest. Noah walked through the front door. The music was deafening. Disco lights painted the walls in shifting colors. Nobody noticed the tall firefighter weaving through the crowd until he reached the center of the room. Elena saw him first. Her face went white. Noah! What are you doing here? Chase turned, his arm still around Elena's waist. Hey, man, you must be the husband. I must be. Noah's voice carried despite the music. Several partygoers turned to look. This is awkward, Chase said with a smirk. Elena was just telling me about your marital problems. Were you? Noah looked at his wife. What kind of problems? Elena's mouth opened and closed like a fish. The music seemed louder now, but conversations were stopping. People sensed drama. Noah pulled out his phone and connected to the gym's Bluetooth speaker system. The birthday party playlist cut out. Since we're being honest, Noah announced, let me share something with everyone. He pressed play. Elena's moans filled the gym, followed by Chase's grunting and the unmistakable sounds of Zex. Then Elena's voice, crystal clear. Noah thinks he saves people, but he can't even save his own marriage. The crowd went silent. Someone's drink hit the floor. Noah, stop! Elena lunged for his phone. He held it above his head. The audio continued. Chase asking if Noah suspected anything. Elena calling her husband clueless and predictable. Turn it off! Chase grabbed Noah's wrist. Noah spun and drove his elbow into Chase's solar plexus. The gym owner doubled over, gasping. Noah followed with an uppercut that sent Chase sprawling into a treadmill. You son of a witch! Chase struggled to his feet, red fluid streaming from his nose. He charged Noah, who sidestepped and grabbed Chase's shirt. Using the man's momentum, Noah slammed him face first into the weight rack. Dumbbells crashed to the floor. Stop it! Elena screamed. Someone call the police! Chase swung wildly, connecting with Noah's jaw. Noah tasted life fluid but smiled. All those months of swallowed rage found their outlet. He grabbed Chase's head and drove his knee upward. The crack echoed through the gym. Chase collapsed, his face a crimson mess. Party guests backed toward the exits. I'm calling 911, someone shouted. Good, Noah said, still holding his phone. They can hear the rest. The audio continued playing. Elena's voice filled the silent gym. I told him I'd be home by midnight. He'll be asleep. Elena was crying now, mascara streaming down her cheeks. Please, Noah. Not like this. Like what? The truth? Sirens wailed in the distance. Noah ejected the USB drive from his phone and slipped it into his pocket. When police arrived, they found Chase unconscious, Elena hysterical, and 30 witnesses with phones recording everything. Officer Martinez, who knew Noah from emergency calls, took his statement. He attacked me first, Noah explained. I was defending myself. That's not true, Elena sobbed. He came here to humiliate me. Ma'am, we have video of your husband being attacked first, Martinez said, reviewing footage from someone's phone. And this audio recording suggests there might be more to the story. Chase was loaded into an ambulance, conscious but barely coherent. Elena tried to ride with him but was told only family could accompany patients. I am family, she insisted. No, Noah said quietly. You're not. The party dispersed quickly. Noah gave his contact information to police and drove home, his knuckles throbbing, but his conscience clear. Lila was staying at Megan's for the weekend. The house felt tomb quiet. At midnight, Elena stumbled through the front door, her red dress torn and makeup ruined. I hope you're happy, she spat, getting there. Everyone saw, everyone knows, she collapsed on the couch. My career is over. Your career? You mean your cover story? Elena looked up with red-rimmed eyes. What do you want, Noah? An apology? Fine. I'm sorry. Sorry you got caught. Sorry I married a self-righteous prick who thinks he's better than everyone. Noah felt something shift inside him, like tectonic plates realigning. You're right. I did think I was better. Better than cheating on my wife. Better than lying to my daughter. Better than screwing around in gym showers while my family thinks I'm working. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. How was it supposed to happen? You and Chase ride off into the sunset while I pay child support? Elena's silence was answer enough. The next morning brought consequences. Elena's real estate license was suspended pending investigation after a complaint was filed about her using client properties for personal activities. The state board had received detailed documentation of her misconduct. Chase's gym was raided by the IRS for tax evasion. Apparently, an anonymous tip had revealed unreported cash income and fraudulent business expenses. Noah's phone rang constantly with calls from reporters, friends, and colleagues. The gym incident had gone viral on social media under hashtag Captain Revenge. You're famous, Megan said, visiting that afternoon, and not in a good way. I don't care. You should. Elena's hired a lawyer. She's claiming emotional misuse and psychological manipulation. Noah showed Megan the USB drive. Let her try. A week later, a mysterious package arrived at Noah's fire station. Inside were photographs dating back 3 years. Elena and Chase at restaurants, hotels, and vacation spots Noah had never seen. A typed note read, "She's done this before." The first sufferer eliminated herself. Ask Chase about Rebecca Martinez. Noah Googled the name. Rebecca Martinez, 34, had died by self-destruction 2 years ago after discovering her husband wasn't the father of their newborn son. She'd been a client of Elena's. The investigation revealed Rebecca had been having an affair with Chase Reynolds while Elena facilitated meetings at houses Rebecca was supposedly selling. After Rebecca's passing, Elena had collected a substantial commission on the sale of Rebecca's home to Chase at below market value. Noah brought this information to Detective Lisa Santos, who specialized in fraud cases. This suggests a pattern, Santos said, reviewing the evidence. We'll need to re-examine Rebecca's case files. Within days, Elena faced new charges: conspiracy to commit fraud, tax evasion, and reckless child neglect. The last charge stemmed from security footage showing Elena leaving Lila unattended in a locked car during a motel rendezvous. Chase, recovering from facial surgery, was arrested in his hospital bed for unlawful conduct with a minor tax fraud and conspiracy charges related to Rebecca Martinez's case. Elena's father, Pastor David Reeves, arrived from Arizona after Noah sent him copies of the evidence. The stern minister who had married Noah and Elena 8 years ago looked broken. I raised her better than this, Pastor Reeves said, tears in his eyes. I thought I knew her, Noah replied. You did know her. This isn't who she was. This is who she became. The pastor held a meeting with Elena at the county detention center. Afterward, he released a statement to the congregation and local media. "My daughter has strayed from the path of righteousness. I cannot and will not support her actions, which have brought shame to our family and hurt to innocent people." Elena's fall from grace was swift and brutal. Her arrest photos made front pages across Colorado. Social media turned her into a cautionary tale about infidelity and karma. But Noah found no satisfaction in her destruction. The victory felt hollow. "You're different," Lila observed one evening as they ate dinner together. "How so? Quieter, angrier, even when you smile." Noah set down his fork. "I'm sorry, kiddo. This hasn't been easy on any of us. Are you going to be okay?" The question came from a 13-year-old who'd watched her world explode in real time. Noah realized he didn't have an answer. "I don't know." Sleep became elusive. Noah started drinking whiskey after Lila went to bed, staring at evidence files he'd memorized. He joined a 24-hour gym and worked out with punishing intensity, imagining Chase's face on every punching bag. At work, colleagues treated him like a celebrity. Captain Martinez clapped his back and said, "You showed that cheating witch what's what." But Noah felt no pride. He'd become someone he didn't recognize, calculating, vengeful, cold. The transformation worried Megan. "You're scaring me," she said after finding Noah cleaning his service weapon at 2 a.m. "I'm fine." "No, you're not. You're obsessed. This thing with Elena and Chase is consuming you. They destroyed my family, and you destroyed them back. When does it end?" Noah didn't have an answer for that either. The legal proceedings moved quickly. Elena's attorney, Sandra Mills, tried every defense possible: temporary insanity, emotional distress, coercion by Chase. Nothing stuck. The evidence was overwhelming. During depositions, Elena maintained she was the sufferer. "My husband psychologically misused me for years," she testified. "I turned to Chase for emotional support." Her lawyer produced fake medical records claiming Noah had been violent at home. Character witnesses described Elena as a devoted mother and loving wife. But when Noah's attorney played the gym recordings, Elena's facade cracked. Her own voice condemning Noah as clueless and predictable destroyed any sympathy she might have garnered. The breaking point came when Elena claimed she'd never loved Chase and had only used him to make Noah jealous. Noah's attorney produced hotel receipts, restaurant bills, and travel records spanning 2 years. Elena had spent over $40,000 on her affair, including a weekend in Aspen Noah had known nothing about. "You spent our daughter's college fund on this man," the attorney pressed. Elena broke down, sobbing. "I made mistakes, but I never stopped loving my family." The attorney played another recording. Elena telling Chase she wished Noah would die in a fire so she could collect his life insurance. The courtroom fell silent. Even Elena's lawyer looked shocked. They requested a recess. During the break, Noah stepped outside for air. The November wind carried the smell of snow. He thought about the man he'd been 6 months ago. Trusting, optimistic, believing in happily ever after. That man was dead, eliminated by screenshots and hidden cameras. Sandra Mills approached him in the courthouse hallway. "My client wants to make a deal," she said quietly. "What kind of deal?" "Full confession in exchange for reduced charges. She'll plead guilty to fraud and tax evasion, give you uncontested custody, and waive all claims to joint assets." "What's the catch?" "She wants you to agree not to pursue the Rebecca Martinez connection. That case could mean homicide charges." Noah studied the lawyer's face. "Let me think about it." That night, he called Detective Santos. "We found Rebecca's self-destruction note," she said. "It mentions Elena by name. Rebecca knew about the conspiracy but couldn't prove it. She felt trapped and ashamed. Could you make a homicide case?" "Maybe. If Elena and Chase deliberately drove Rebecca to self-destruction for financial gain, That's criminally negligent homicide at minimum. How long would Elena serve? 15 to 20 years. Chase would get similar. Noah hung up and poured another whiskey. Through his kitchen window, he could see the house where Elena had lived her double life. Soon it would be his alone, along with everything else. But he felt no triumph. The next morning brought devastating news. Chase had attempted self-destruction in his jail cell, using bedsheets to hang himself. Guards found him in time, but oxygen deprivation had left him paralyzed from the neck down. Elena's reaction was swift and brutal. She blamed Noah. "You did this!" she screamed during their final court appearance. "You destroyed everything out of spite." "I destroyed nothing. I just turned on the lights." Elena's sentencing hearing was scheduled for December 15th. Media attention had died down, replaced by newer scandals, but the courthouse was still packed. Elena wore a conservative blue dress and minimal makeup, trying to look repentant. Her parents sat in the front row, faces etched with shame and grief. Before sentencing, Elena was allowed to make a statement. "Your Honor, I know I made terrible choices. I hurt my husband, my daughter, and myself. I let my marriage problems drive me to behaviors I'm not proud of. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just mercy. My daughter needs her mother." The judge, a stern woman in her 60s, reviewed the case file before responding. "Mrs. Bennett, you conducted a systematic campaign of deception lasting over 2 years. You defrauded clients, evaded taxes, and exposed your minor child to your infidelity. Most troubling, evidence suggests you may have contributed to Rebecca Martinez's passing through deliberate psychological manipulation." Elena's composure cracked. "I never meant for Rebecca to die." "But you did mean to profit from her emotional distress. The court sentences you to 5 years in state prison, followed by 3 years probation. You will pay full restitution to sufferers and forfeit all claims to joint marital assets." Elena collapsed into her chair, sobbing. Her mother rushed forward but was restrained by bailiffs. Noah felt nothing. Outside the courthouse, reporters asked how he felt about the sentence. "Justice was served," he said simply. But driving home, Noah realized justice and satisfaction were different things. The house felt enormous with just him and Lila. They established new routines: pancake breakfasts on weekends, homework at the kitchen table, movie nights with too much popcorn. Lila was resilient in the way only children can be. She asked about her mother occasionally, but seemed more relieved than traumatized by the divorce. "I don't miss the fighting," she told Noah one evening. "What fighting?" "You and Mom. You thought I couldn't hear, but I could. She was always angry about something." Noah realized their marriage had been failing long before Chase Reynolds entered the picture. Elena's affair was a symptom, not the disease. Winter passed quietly. Noah threw himself into work, earning commendations for bravery during a warehouse fire that trapped 2 homeless men. His heroics made local news again, but this time reporters focused on his professional skills rather than his personal drama. In March, devastating news arrived. Chase Reynolds had died from complications related to his paralysis. Infection had spread through his body faster than antibiotics could fight it. Noah felt no satisfaction at the news. Chase had been pathetic and carnivory, but he hadn't deserved to die. Elena took the news hard. According to her prison counselor, she'd been writing letters to Chase daily, begging his forgiveness and declaring her love. "She's not handling reality well," the counselor told Noah during a phone call. "She maintains that you orchestrated everything out of jealousy." "Does she want to see Lila?" "She's requested visitation, but given the child's testimony about feeling unsafe around her mother, we'd recommend against it." Lila had indeed testified that Elena's behavior had frightened her. The lies, the strange men, The midnight absences had created an atmosphere of instability and fear. "I don't want to see her yet," Lila told Noah. "Maybe when I'm older." Spring brought new challenges. Noah was promoted to fire chief, a position he'd always wanted but now felt ambivalent about. The extra responsibility meant longer hours and more stress. He started seeing a therapist, Dr. Sarah Chen, who specialized in trauma recovery. "You've been through a significant betrayal," Dr. Chen explained. "It's normal to feel angry, paranoid, and emotionally numb. When does it get better? When you let it. Right now you're holding on to anger like armor. It protects you but also isolates you. What if I let go and get hurt again? Then you'll handle it. You're stronger than you think." But Noah wasn't ready to be vulnerable. He dated occasionally but never seriously. Trust felt like a luxury he couldn't afford. The first anniversary of Elena's arrest passed quietly. Noah marked it by visiting Rebecca Martinez's grave and leaving flowers. Her headstone was simple: beloved mother and daughter. Standing in the cemetery, Noah wondered if he'd become the villain in someone else's story. His quest for justice had destroyed Elena completely, left Chase dead, and turned him into someone he barely recognized. Summer brought an unexpected visitor. Sandra Mills, Elena's former attorney, appeared at Noah's fire station. "Elena wants to see you," she said. "Why?" "She's been diagnosed with severe depression. The prison psychiatrist thinks closure might help." Noah studied the lawyer's face. "What does she want to say?" "I don't know, but she's broken, Noah. Whatever anger you had toward her, she's paid for it." The visit was scheduled for the following week. Noah drove to the Colorado Women's Correctional Facility with mixed emotions. He hadn't seen Elena since her sentencing 8 months earlier. She looked 20 years older. Gray streaked her unwashed hair, and prison had added weight to her frame. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. They sat across from each other in the visitation room, separated by reinforced glass. "You look good," Elena said quietly. "You don't." She managed a weak smile. "Prison food and guilt don't agree with me." "What did you want to say?" Elena's composure cracked immediately. "I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I need you to know. I loved you, Noah. I loved our family. I just lost my way." "When? When did you stop loving us?" "I never stopped. That's what makes this so horrible. I was selfish and stupid and cruel, but I never stopped loving you." Noah studied her face, looking for deception. He found only exhaustion. "Then why?" "I felt invisible. You were this local hero, saving people, getting awards. I was just the firefighter's wife who sold houses. Chase made me feel special. So you destroyed everything." "I destroyed everything." Elena pressed her palm against the glass. "Can you ever forgive me?" Noah looked at the woman he'd married, the mother of his child, the person who'd shared his bed for 8 years. The Elena he'd loved was gone, replaced by this broken stranger. "I already have," he said. Elena burst into tears. The drive home was somber. Noah realized forgiveness wasn't about Elena. It was about freeing himself from the anger that had consumed him. That evening, he called Dr. Chen. "I visited Elena today," he reported. "How do you feel?" "Empty, but not in a bad way, like I've been carrying something heavy and finally set it down." "That's progress." "Is it over now?" "The legal part is. The emotional part is up to you." Fall arrived early that year. Noah and Lila carved pumpkins and watched horror movies, establishing new traditions without Elena's shadow looming over them. On Halloween night, while Lila was trick-or-treating with friends, Noah received an unexpected phone call. "Chief Bennett? This is Warden Rodriguez at the women's facility. I'm calling about your ex-wife." Noah's blood chilled. What happened? She was found unconscious in her cell this evening. Apparent pill overdose. She's been transported to Denver General. The hospital was chaos. Noah found Elena in the ICU, tubes and wires attached to her pale body. Doctors explained she'd ingested pills obtained from another inmate. Is it self-destruction? Noah asked. We're not sure. She left no note, but given her mental state. Elena's parents arrived from Arizona, aged and grief-stricken. Her father, the pastor who disowned her publicly, wept at her bedside. My baby girl, he whispered. What have we done to you? Elena remained unconscious for 3 days. When she finally woke, Noah was alone with her. Why? He asked simply. Elena's voice was barely audible. I can't live with what I've become. So you'd rather die? Wouldn't you? If you'd destroyed everything you loved? Noah thought about the question seriously. No, I'd try to rebuild. There's nothing left to rebuild. There's Lila. She'll want to know her mother someday. Elena's eyes filled with tears. She's better off without me. That's not your decision to make. Elena was transferred back to prison medical a week later. The self-destruction attempt added time to her sentence and put her on constant watch. Noah visited monthly after that, not out of love, but out of duty. Elena gradually improved, joining therapy groups and working in the prison library. During one visit, she seemed genuinely hopeful. I'm learning to read again, she said. Not just words, but people's faces, emotions. I missed so much when I was lost in my own selfishness. What will you do when you get out? Start over, somewhere far away. Build something good for once. What about Lila? When she's ready. If she's ever ready, I won't force it. Time moved quickly. Lila grew into a confident teenager, excelling in school and making friends easily. She asked about Elena occasionally, but showed no interest in visiting. Maybe in college, she told Noah, when I'm older and understand things better. Noah's own healing progressed slowly. He dated a few women, but nothing serious developed. Trust remained elusive, though anger had finally faded. 3 years after Elena's sentencing, Noah received surprising news. Elena was being released early for good behavior and participation in rehabilitation programs. Where will she go? Noah asked her parole officer. Oregon. She has a job lined up at a nonprofit that helps women transition out of prison. Elena called the night before her release. I wanted to thank you, she said. For what? Not giving up on me completely. Those visits kept me sane. Elena, I need you to understand something. We can never be friends. Too much has happened. I know. I'm not asking for friendship, just don't poison Lila against me forever. Lila will make her own choices. That's all I can ask for. Elena moved to Portland and began working with formerly incarcerated women. According to mutual friends, she lived quietly, kept a low profile, and seemed genuinely committed to rebuilding her life. Noah felt relieved when she left Colorado. Her presence, even in prison, had been a constant reminder of betrayal and loss. Life settled into comfortable routines. Noah's career flourished. Lila prepared for college, and the past began to fade like smoke after a fire. On the 5th anniversary of Elena's arrest, Noah was working late at the fire station when Detective Santos called. I thought you should know, she said. We're reopening the Rebecca Martinez case. Why? Elena's former cellmate came forward with new information. Apparently, Elena confessed to deliberately pushing Rebecca toward self-destruction to clear the way for Chase to buy her house at a discount. Noah felt a familiar coldness in his chest. Is there enough evidence? Maybe. Elena kept detailed records of her manipulation tactics. Her cellmate says she bragged about being a psychological assassin. Will you arrest her? If we can build a case. Homicide charges have no statute of limitations. The news should have satisfied Noah's sense of justice, but it only left him tired. The cycle of revenge and consequence seemed endless. He called Dr. Chen the next morning. "I thought this was over," he said. "Legal consequences may continue, but your emotional healing doesn't have to stop. You can choose to engage or step back." "What do you mean?" "You can cooperate with the investigation or decline to participate. Rebecca Martinez deserves justice, but you deserve peace." Noah chose cooperation, but limited involvement. He provided his original evidence files but refused to testify unless subpoenaed. The past had claimed enough of his life. The investigation proceeded slowly. Elena fought extradition from Oregon, claiming she'd already paid for her crimes. Her legal team argued that double jeopardy prevented new charges for the same underlying conduct. While lawyers battled, Noah focused on the future. Lila was accepted to Colorado State University with a full scholarship. His pride in her accomplishments felt clean and uncomplicated. At her graduation ceremony, Lila surprised him. "I want to write to Mom," she said as they walked to the car afterward. Noah's chest tightened. "Are you sure?" "Not to forgive her or rebuild a relationship, just to let her know I'm okay, that despite everything I turned out fine." "That's very mature of you. I learned from the best." Lila hugged him tight. "You saved me, Dad. Not from a fire, but from becoming bitter and broken." The letter Lila sent was brief but powerful. "Mom, I graduated valedictorian today. I'm studying psychology in college because I want to understand how people's minds work, how they make choices, how they heal from trauma. I'm not ready to see you, but I want you to know that I'm happy and healthy. Dad raised me to be strong and forgiving. Maybe someday we can talk. Until then, I hope you find peace. Lila." Elena's response came 3 weeks later. "My dearest Lila, your letter gave me the first real joy I've felt in 5 years. Knowing you're thriving makes every consequence I've faced worthwhile. I dream of earning the right to know the amazing woman you've become. I love you beyond words. Mom." Noah read both letters without emotion. The correspondence felt like watching strangers navigate their relationship. Summer brought unexpected developments in the Rebecca Martinez case. Elena's former cellmate, facing her own legal troubles, recanted her testimony. She admitted to fabricating Elena's supposed confessions in exchange for preferential treatment. "The case is falling apart," Detective Santos reported. "Without the cellmate's testimony, we don't have enough evidence. So Elena won't face new charges? Probably not. The original convictions will stand, but the homicide investigation is likely over." Noah felt relief rather than disappointment. Justice had been served, even if it wasn't perfect. That fall, Lila started college. The house felt enormous without her energy filling it. Noah adopted a dog, a German shepherd named Blaze, and began seriously dating Sarah, a trauma nurse he'd met during an emergency call. Sarah was divorced herself, with 2 young sons. She understood the complexities of rebuilding after betrayal without needing endless explanations. "You're different from other men I've dated," she told him one evening as they watched Blaze play with her boys in the backyard. "How so?" "You don't need me to fix you or complete you. You're whole on your own." That wasn't always true, but it is now. That's what matters. Their relationship developed slowly, built on mutual respect rather than desperate need. When Sarah's ex-husband created custody problems, Noah helped navigate the legal system without trying to control the situation. "Elena taught me that love isn't about possession," he explained to Dr. Chen. "It's about choosing someone every day, even when it's difficult. That's significant growth. 5 years too late, but growth nonetheless." Christmas approached, bringing the first holiday season where Noah felt genuinely content. Lila was home from college, Sarah and her boys joined their celebrations, and the future felt bright rather than uncertain. On Christmas Eve, while wrapping presents, Noah's phone rang. The caller ID showed Elena's number. "I know I shouldn't call," she began, "but I wanted to wish Lila a Merry Christmas. Could you tell her? You can write to her directly." "I will." "Noah, I also wanted to tell you something. I'm engaged." The news should have bothered him, but it didn't. "Congratulations." "His name is David. He knows everything about my past. We met in a recovery group. He's a good man. Like you were. Like I still am." "Yes, like you still are?" Elena's voice cracked slightly. "I'm grateful you found happiness. Sarah seems wonderful." "How do you know about Sarah?" "Lila mentioned her in her letters." "I'm glad you're not alone anymore." "Elena, I need to ask you something. Rebecca Martinez. Did you deliberately push her toward self-destruction?" The question hung in the air for long seconds. "No," Elena said finally. "I was selfish and greedy, but I never wanted her to die. When it happened, I felt sick. But I was too scared and ashamed to come forward." Noah believed her. The Elena he'd married, despite her flaws, wasn't a killer. "I hope you find peace," he said. "I hope you already have." After hanging up, Noah felt a strange sense of closure. The woman who destroyed his first life was building a second one. Perhaps redemption was possible for everyone. New Year's Eve arrived with a blizzard that shut down most of Denver. Noah and Sarah were trapped at his house with her boys, Lila and Blaze. They played board games, cooked together, and watched the ball drop on television. At midnight, as fireworks exploded on screen, Sarah kissed him softly. "What are you thinking about?" she asked. "Fresh starts." "Any resolutions?" "Just one. Stop looking backward." "That's a good one." Winter passed quickly. Sarah moved in during spring, her boys adapting easily to the larger house and Blaze's enthusiastic attention. Lila approved wholeheartedly, telling Noah that Sarah made him laugh like he used to. The past surfaced one final time in April. Elena's parole officer called to report that she'd been arrested for a parole violation, leaving Oregon without permission to attend her father's funeral in Arizona. "Will she go back to prison?" Noah asked. "Probably not. It's a minor violation, and she had legitimate reasons, but I thought you should know. Noah drove to Arizona for Pastor Reeves's funeral, more to support Elena's mother than out of obligation to Elena. The service was small, attended mostly by elderly parishioners who remembered David Reeves's better days. Elena sat in the front row, wearing a simple black dress. She'd gained weight in prison but looked healthier than during their last visit. Her fiancé, David, was a tall, quiet man who held her hand throughout the service. After the burial, Elena approached Noah. "Thank you for coming. Your father was a good man. He forgave me before he died." That meant everything. They stood in awkward silence beside the fresh grave. "I saw Lila's graduation photos on Facebook," Elena continued. "She's beautiful. She looks like you. She acts like you. That's better." David joined them, extending his hand to Noah. "You must be the famous ex-husband." "Infamous, maybe." David smiled. "Elena's told me everything. What you went through, what she did. I want you to know I don't take her past lightly. She's lucky to have someone who understands second chances. We all are." Driving home through desert highways, Noah reflected on the circular nature of forgiveness. Elena had found love again, Lila was thriving, and he'd built a new family with Sarah and her boys. The story that began with betrayal and revenge had evolved into something more complex, a meditation on love, loss, and the possibility of redemption. That summer, Noah and Sarah were married in a small ceremony at the fire station. Lila stood as Noah's best person, while Sarah's sons served as ring bearers. The guest list included firefighters, nurses, and the friends who'd supported them through difficult times. Elena sent a card, but didn't attend. Her message was simple: wishing you all the happiness you deserve. 3 months later, Noah received final news about Elena. She and David had married in a quiet courthouse ceremony and were expecting a child. The pregnancy was high risk due to Elena's age and history of depression, but doctors were optimistic. "How do you feel about becoming a stepfather to Elena's child?" Dr. Chen asked during their final therapy session. "I don't think about it much. That's Elena's new life, not mine." "And Lila? How does she feel about having a half-sibling?" "Curious but not upset. She sent Elena a baby gift. That shows remarkable maturity." "She gets that from her mother," Noah said, then caught himself. "No, that's not fair. She gets it from choosing to be better than her circumstances." Years passed peacefully. Noah was promoted to regional fire chief, overseeing multiple departments across Colorado. Sarah's nursing career flourished, and her boys grew into confident teenagers who called Noah Dad without hesitation. Lila graduated college with honors and began graduate work in clinical psychology. She'd found her calling helping trauma survivors rebuild their lives. Elena's daughter, Hope, was born healthy despite complications during delivery. Lila sent photos and updates occasionally, maintaining minimal but cordial contact with her mother. "Do you ever regret how everything played out?" Sarah asked one evening as they watched the sunset from their deck. "Which part?" "The revenge, the public humiliation. Going nuclear instead of just divorcing quietly." Noah considered the question carefully. "I regret the person I became during the worst of it, but I don't regret exposing the truth. Even knowing how it destroyed Elena. Elena destroyed Elena. I just turned on the lights." "That's very philosophical for a fire chief." "I've had time to think about it." On the 10th anniversary of Elena's affair discovery, Noah was cleaning out old files when he found the USB drive containing the original evidence. He'd forgotten it existed. Sarah found him in his office, staring at the small device. "What's that?" "The beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning." "Are you going to look at it?" Noah turned the drive over in his hands. "No, I think I'll burn it. They built a fire in the backyard fireplace that evening." Noah tossed the USB drive into the flames and watched it melt into nothing. Sarah held his hand as plastic and metal became smoke and ash. "How does it feel?" she asked. "Like closure." "Finally?" "Finally." The fire burned down to embers as they sat in comfortable silence. Blaze slept at their feet, content and peaceful. Through the kitchen window they could see Sarah's boys doing homework at the table where Noah had once planned his revenge. Life had come full circle, but the destination was different than anyone could have predicted. The house that had witnessed betrayal and rage now hosted birthday parties and family dinners. The man who'd been broken by infidelity had learned to love again, deeper and wiser than before. Elena's story continued in Oregon, where she raised Hope with David and worked with women transitioning out of prison. They exchanged Christmas cards with Noah's family, brief updates that maintained connection without closeness. Lila visited her mother once during graduate school, a carefully planned meeting that went better than expected. She reported that Elena seemed genuinely reformed, though they'd never be close. "She's a different person now," Lila told Noah afterward. "But so are we all." The past was finally past. On a cold December evening 5 years later, Noah was responding to a house fire when he recognized the address. 847 Maple Street, Elena's childhood home where her mother still lived. Mrs. Reeves was standing in the street, watching flames consume her kitchen. She was 86 now, frail but determined. "Are you hurt?" Noah asked, approaching with his medical kit. She recognized him immediately. Noah Bennett. I should have known you'd be the one to save me. Just doing my job, Mrs. Reeves. Elena's job, too, once upon a time. Taking care of people. The fire was quickly contained, damage minimal. As Noah packed his equipment, Mrs. Reeves touched his arm. She asks about you sometimes, Elena. I hope she's well. She is. Happy, even. Hope is walking now, getting into everything. The elderly woman smiled. Elena says her daughter has your stubbornness. That's not necessarily a compliment. It is from her. Driving home, Noah thought about the strange symmetry of saving Elena's mother from fire. The element that had defined his career, threatened his first marriage, and provided the metaphor for Elena's destruction had brought their stories together one final time. At home, Sarah was waiting with hot coffee and warm arms. How was the call? She asked. Routine save. Kitchen fire? Elderly woman? Minor damage? Good night for heroics, then. I suppose. But as they settled into bed, Noah realized heroism wasn't about dramatic rescues or public recognition. It was about choosing love over revenge, forgiveness over bitterness, building rather than destroying. He'd learned that lesson the hard way, through betrayal and rage and the slow process of healing, but he'd learned it completely. The last chapter of Noah and Elena's story was written not in courtrooms or confrontations, but in quiet moments of grace. Christmas cards exchanged, grandchildren born, lives rebuilt from ashes. Sometimes the best revenge is simply living well, and sometimes, if you're very lucky, living well leads to something better than revenge, peace. Noah Bennett slept soundly that night, no longer haunted by ghosts of betrayal or dreams of retribution. He'd found something more valuable than justice. He'd found home.